So
Yeah.
we wrote a C library that through which we can use the Modbus protocol in a microcontroller.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Community ProjeX with ipXchange. Today we have Shaunak, an embedded system design engineer specialized in industrial automation, home automation, and automotive systems. Shaunak, welcome to the ipX studios. Thank you very much for being a part of our design engineering community. Please introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
thank you so much. Basically, EmbVerse is an idea that was grown up around 3 years ago. I
Hmm.
started with its website first. It was not incorporated at that time. Uh, I started writing some blogs, working on some embedded systems project on it, and
Yeah.
sharing the blogs open source. And later
Hmm.
on, I got recognized through some clients, and I got some work. So for around 1.5 years, I worked as a freelancer. But this year, the Inverse got incorporated, and we got the company working. And we are into industrial automation, home automation, and automotive systems. Basically, we provide the services in research and product development to generate products and selling. So we have some scratch level idea to sell product selling level, all the steps we follow. And during the course of the time and into these 3 years, we learned a lot. We learned to be a good team. Very small amount of team we have. We have very close. We are very close people, and
Same with us.
yeah. And we normally work on ethics, so we have a disciplined approach towards our work. We fulfill the deadlines no matter what it takes for us to fulfill them. And we also see emphasis purpose in two different categories we can say. One is for the monitorial purpose from which we earn our money. But
Yeah.
the more important part for us is like to give it back to the community of developers. So
Yeah.
that's why we are purpose to share open source knowledge through blogs.
Yeah. That's very cool.
We have succeeded a bit till this date, but we are still yet to work a lot in that direction as well. And
Hmm.
in future, if we grow potentially good financial wise, then we will be expanding our specific technical block team that can serve that purpose. It will not be generating money for us, but it will be more towards giving back to the community and people. And like to see, when I was an engineer, I was studying engineering during my graduation and post graduation. I used to get a lot of help from search engines like Google and Bing and everything. And through them, I used to visit some websites where people shared so many open source projects at that time. So the way same philosophy we also want to carry forward. So it's like to give it back, and also we are into the industries. So we hold our research and development facilities. We are located in India. There is a city called Ahmedabad in India where we are located, and we have a small office here. We have a small lab here. So where we work, and we work hybrid way. So it's like some of us work from home sometimes. For example, right now I'm working from home.
Yeah.
So it's like we have set up two places to work, each and every one. So that is how
Yeah.
we work ourselves, and we have flexibility of timings. We work on our time, and it's like sometimes we work a lot, sometimes we enjoy a lot. That's how we work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to tell me the specifics of the projects that you sent me before the call and tell the community about them?
Yeah, see, we work on confidentially contracts with our clients, so we
Hmm.
cannot share all our projects that we do.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
can share our open source work. You will be finding in our blog section on the website. There is a work section as well on the website where I have
Hmm.
my own work shared over there. I had some good academic projects with me. I had some good industrial projects that could be put as open source. So you can see all my work over there. In our blog section, you will find more work like in automotive domain, in a industrial automation domain. In like, for example, we wrote a very good blog which I shared as well with you guys, which was about
Hmm.
Modbus. It was about Modbus RTU, specifically saying in that direction that work has to be carried forwarded to as many people as possible. Because Modbus
Hmm.
RTU is a quite a very old protocol, old communication protocol being used in the industries. And but Modbus is having a limitation that Modbus peripherals are not mostly available in microcontrollers. So
Yeah.
we wrote a C library that through which we can use the Modbus protocol in a microcontroller.
Yeah.
And
So how
it's
did you
a
do
gen
that?
yeah, we had two development kits with us. That was one
Yeah.
from Texas Instruments and one from Cypress Semiconductors. We had two
Hmm.
development different kits. So we started generating one library for one, and we once we succeeded, we tried the same library on the other one as well. And
Hmm.
the library works for both at both the cases. But we want to get it tested more. We want to get it tested more through other developers as well. If they want to use the library in their even in their patented things, we are not going to do anything for that. We are going to support
Hmm.
them for that. So it's like an open source library we want to build. It's the same kind of work we want to carry forward in the future as well, like making more open source things that can be contributed. Maybe in the automotive domain as well. It's like, see, on automotive, we are normally using CAN and LAN protocols for the communication part. So if we are able to do something in that direction, like for example, if we are able to generate some good projects with that part, we'll also be sharing on that. We also worked on some robotics projects during specifically my industrial career. So one of them was a very special project to me. It was
Yeah.
about robot operating system. So when I started working on that project, it was the year almost 2018, and robot operating system came into field near the same time only. It was not that much famous as it is right now. So
Hmm.
I was working on that, and during the course of the time, I did not know anything how to start with. So basically, being an R&D person, I normally do not rely too much heavily on search engines to get my solutions. First
Hmm.
thing that I do is I try to go with the books, the reference books or textbooks that I
Okay.
have.
Yeah.
So I went through a author whose name was Lentin Joseph. So I started reading his books on ROS and started learning from it. And day by day, I got some grip on it. I also contacted the author as well regarding my problems that I was facing. Basically, it was a completely new programming languages coming to me. So I was not able to grasp them easily. So I also contacted him as well and get his solutions and like putting my queries to him. And he was also a very kind person. He was a very gentle person. He used to respond to me. And the way I fulfilled that project in almost, I think it took me around 3 to 4 months of period. But finally we did it. It was allowed over a teleoperating robot. So, but yeah, I wrote a blog on that part as well. For example, the blog is not about how I built that robot, but it is more
Hmm.
about the approach that I had like accepted to build that robot.
Yeah.
So it was more about the approach. It is always about whenever you're like trying to find a solution to a problem, you more focus on the
Hmm.
approach rather than the solution itself.
Yes. So what kind of
So
problems did you face when you were doing this?
yeah, basically it was ROS was quite new for me.
Oh,
ROS
no
was
worries.
quite new. Yeah. So ROS quite was quite new for me, and at
Yeah.
that time, the hardware, the robotics section was having
Hmm.
Bluetooth and connectivity of Bluetooth with a desktop, not a laptop. So that was also a challenge for us. So we had to use a dongle. We were working on Linux at that time.
Hmm.
I think at that time ROS was not having the Windows version yet available. So we were working on the Linux. So in
Okay.
Linux, we were facing some challenges with some drivers as well. So everything
Yeah.
had to be sorted out day by day. We had to work every single day. Sometimes we had to stay in the office for the late.
So an
And
incremental approach.
sorry,
An incremental approach to solving it.
yeah, incremental approach we can say. And I also got active into the ROS community as well.
Hmm.
So ROS community is quite good. People normally respond very fast and very effective. So I started interacting with people over there as well. Uh, uh, and Also the hardware part. I mean, the hardware part, the assembly of the hardware, which was, I mean, the robot design and everything I had to pursue. So all these things, were so many challenges were there. And but yeah, it's like more about like the some learning new things, how you grasp the things, how you take care of the challenges, and it's more about that. It's not like the very first time you're going to get the solutions itself.
Yeah. Okay. So we're obviously an agnostic um, kind of media platform. So I was just wondering if you have any reliable components that you've experienced with whilst building your projects to share with our community.
Uh, the
Yeah.
components of
Pardon?
components of what?
Of the components you've used in your projects.
Oh yeah. See, in embedded systems, normally the approach is like we start with whenever we get a project with us.
Hmm.
First of all, we try to figure out which controller is going to be appropriate for it.
Yeah.
And once we get the controller part, we normally get the development kit of it
Yeah.
in the very beginning stage to just
Yeah.
to get to know the controller, how it behaves on different kind of codings and
Yeah.
everything. So in components, if we say we are not specific to using any single kind of components, like
Yeah.
any specific
Just
company or any specific
yeah.
manufacturer. We go with Atmel, we go with Microchip, we go with Cypress, we go with
All
ST
depending on
sometimes,
the project.
depending on the project requirement. See, so
Yeah.
for example, Texas Instruments is also good into automotive part. So all
Yeah.
these things are taken into account. And as far as the sensors and everything is concerned, again, see, there are so many modules available. We start with the modules first so that we can at least get to know the behavior of the sensor.
Hmm.
And once we get to the know the behavior of the sensor, okay, yeah, this is going to be communicating through maybe I2C protocol or maybe SPA protocol, or and how it works, what are the values, how to calibrate it, everything we get to know. Then we try to find the actual sensor from some websites like DigiKey or maybe Alibaba or something.
Hmm. Okay. So, do you have any advice to design engineers in our community working on similar projects to yours?
Yeah, see, advice I cannot say. I'm not an expert right now.
Yeah.
It's my dream to be an expert in the subject, but to be an expert,
Yeah.
it's like it takes a lifetime for anyone.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Okay.
there is a good piece of what we can say, suggestion, or I can say a better way.
Yeah.
It's like it's not embedded system is kind of a blending of electronics and programming.
Hmm.
So you have to be good at both, first of all. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you are doing it as a job in a company and if you are appointed either as a hardware engineer or a firmware engineer, that's a different story. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be working in that direction that you design the whole system, then you have to be
Hmm.
good at both.
Yeah.
The sections of this approach is like, for example, sometimes I'm working on 70% hardware, 30% firmware. Sometimes it's 30% hardware, 70% firmware. So
Yeah.
it depends on that, but you have to be good at both, first of all. Also,
Yeah.
the component choices is very vital because if you get stuck into a component which is which is causing later issues like
Yeah.
code optimization is not possible or memory optimization is not possible. Then
Mhm.
it's like it's going to be you have to start again. So
Yeah.
it takes a bit of time. Always to take more time in choosing the components first.
So
If
to
it
be
takes time,
patient.
yeah, it's a patient thing, and don't get into running into deadline things. It's like
Mhm.
you have to be patient to choosing the
Yeah.
component part.
Yeah. That's very good advice.
Yeah, and also the writing of the code, if we say, see, if you go into the GitHub of
Mhm.
EmbVerse and you see the codes, they are very
Yeah.
well documented and commented out. Comments are
Mhm.
very important. So I see whenever I'm working on something, any
Mhm.
kind of code, specifically firmware, if I'm working, I always make it sure, even if I'm not around anytime, anyone
Mhm.
can pick up the code and start working. That's how
Yeah.
it should be working.
Yeah.
So coding
Okay.
part should be there. Yeah, there should have good variable names, proper variable. Even if they are long, don't bother. Take your own time, but don't try to minimize the code by using like stupid names, something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. So, do you have any designs that you can talk about that are upcoming in the future?
Right now, I'm not having specific designs into mind. I have some things into
Okay.
mind. For example, I haven't. Tesla has recently made its Roadsters documentation open source, so I was going through it.
Oh
And
yes, the old Roadster.
yeah, I just went
Yeah.
through it, and I went through some videos on the BMS of it, like battery management
Mhm.
system. So I went through some videos, and I was inspired. Like, okay, yeah, this is how. And yeah, for one of the very good thing that I got to know was Tesla is using almost the same components that we normal developers use. They are not using extraordinary things. So
Yeah.
I mean, they are using the microchip. They are using NXP, which we normally use as well. So it's not like they are
Yeah.
doing any kind of too much rocket science.
Yeah. So it's
So
just kind of
which is
stuff that's and
yeah.
and
So
yeah.
I was very inspired with that. So I'm also thinking in that direction. But again, being in India, automobile and automation industries have quite different challenges than in Europe and USA in
Mhm.
India. So I'm trying to figure out some real issues. See, first of all, the problem has to be defined. Then we got the solution. It's not
Yeah.
like we whatever comes into mind and you put it in the market. It's not like that, but we have to
Mhm.
be so much defined like, okay, this is the problem statement, this is really affecting people, maybe in the industry, maybe in the consumer sector, and this is really affecting people and we have to solve it. And once we get to it, it takes time to solve it, but when we solve it and we start getting the fruits, then there is a different level of satisfaction that we have. But
Mhm.
yes, I do have a couple of projects in mind, but I haven't started working in that direction because, again, as we have just incorporated, so we are also now. Till last year, I was working as a freelancer, but now I'm the director of a company. So I now have some more responsibility at management side as well. So sometimes time doesn't permit me to get into things. Uh, but yeah, soon once we get streamlined, we are just streamlining our processes, management, and our activities and everything. Once we start running smoothly, then I will be definitely going to working on this kind of new products or maybe new ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. Okay, well, thank you very much, Shaunak. That was a very
Yeah.
interesting interview and some great advice was given. Thank you, ipXchange, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, yo, where my engineers at?